All right, morning everybody. How's it going? It is Friday. We've made it through 5 full days of mornings with Mark. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for being engaged. Yesterday we had an interesting talk that kind of took a little bit of a turn when we were talking about digital identity and unfortunately the overhyped blockchain word. Well, today I wanted to talk about something maybe a little bit more topical. So I hope you've got your tea or your coffee. And I want to talk about what was flying around online yesterday with iPhone, with iOS, with OS X, and that really weird little character that you probably didn't even see. Essentially what happened, Tom Warren over at The Verge had a great breaking story that there was a major bug in iOS. It's still there. It's in 11.2.5, I think it is, so the latest version. And basically what happens is if your messaging app or another app receives a very specific character in one of the Indian dialect languages, so it's a Unicode character, it crashes. Now that doesn't sound like too much until you realize that all of these apps like iMessage, Facebook Messenger, they're set up to receive messages from anybody. So this means anyone can fire off a message with this specific character and your app will crash until that message is deleted or that character is removed somehow. So this is quite significant. It's a denial of service attack. So that's where an attacker does something to prevent your system from working. So they're not trying to steal data. They're not trying to take over your system to use it in another attack. They're just simply trying to deny you the use of that system. And this is a one character attack that's super easy to fire off at people. I spent a good chunk of my day restarting and then just giving up on my Twitter client, on macOS, on Tweetbot. It was just dying every time it tried to process this character. There's just something about the way that the Apple platform handles this particular character that causes it to crash. Now that's a simple mistake. Developers make mistakes all the time. And I think for me, this really kind of comes back to one of the core aspects of security that a lot of people tend to forget about. People think security is its own discipline, and for sure, there's a lot of expertise required to dive deep. My own specialty in forensics needs a lot of expertise. There's a lot of expertise around incident responders, around perimeter defense. Like, there are absolutely specialties within security, but if you're thinking of security as a separate activity, you're already failing at that, to be perfectly honest. So we see that a lot where people are pushing this concept of DevSecOps versus DevOps. Security is part of DevOps. You don't need to add an extra acronym. You guys have heard me rail against that multiple times for the last couple of years. Security is part of everything you do, and in an automated system like a culture that embraces DevOps, security needs to be built in. So this is a good example where you're not going to test every single Unicode character out there, but one slipped through and caused a catastrophic error. So maybe they should have had automated testing all the Unicode characters. There's only 10 or 12,000. Very easy for a computer to run through all of them. But this is a case where security's job, and this is my definition of cybersecurity. And I think it's very practical and very useful, and I think it clears up a lot of misconceptions. It's that cybersecurity, the job of security is to make sure that your systems are doing what they're supposed to do and only what they're supposed to do, right? So in this case, the messages on your iPhone, it's supposed to let you send messages and videos and rich content back and forth between one or more people. That's it. It's not supposed to crash its system. It's not supposed to, crash repeatedly until somebody else removes a character from a thing. It's supposed to work. Now, reliability and quality you think are separate activities. Well, they are kind of, but if you think of, I think quality is a really good example. A colleague of mine had brought this up and said, you don't have a separate quality department. You may have a quality verification department, but quality is everybody's job, and so is security. So this is a case where a simple mistake is causing a major security issue for all Apple users at the moment, because you don't know who's going to send this across your timeline, who's going to send you a random message here, and your system may crash depending on the program that's processing it. That's a big issue. Now, Apple's recognized this. They're going to issue out a patch very, very shortly, because they actually had already addressed this bug in 11.3 for iOS, which is due out later in a month or two. But they're going to send out an emergency patch the next day or so. So make sure you have auto updates on, as always. But again, this is another good example where security is not a separate activity. It's part of everything that you're supposed to be doing. It's there to ensure that your systems are doing what they're supposed to do, and only that. That's where I think people kind of take their eye off the ball and they lose sight of that bigger picture because they stand up entire departments dedicated to security and they think it's this magical discipline, it's the wizard on the hill kind of thing. It's not. It's part and parcel of everything everyone who is touching technology is doing, and you need to turn around and make sure that everybody is educated and testing and automating and doing appropriate activities to make sure that things like this don't pop up, or if when they do, you can react quickly and effectively to protect your users. So that's it for today. I hope you guys are off for a good day. I hope the coffee or the tea is helping out. I hope everybody is going to have an enjoyable weekend. As always, I'm always happy to chat, looking for engagement, looking for conversation. Hit me up here on Facebook did I get it right? Oh, no, wrong side. There we go. Hit me up on Twitter, MarkNCA, LinkedIn. Talk about this bug. Let's talk about security within DevOps culture. Let's talk about security as a discipline and how you can be security educators. Anything on top of your mind, just shoot a comment down below here or any other platform. Hope you have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday. Can I do it one-handed? Blind? No. There we go. All right. Sorry about the side view. I've got different angle today. All good. See you on Monday.